I'm Helen Gibson with Verde Valley TV, and you're watching Arizona Business Spotlight. We made it through another week. I'm so glad to see you today. You don't want to go anywhere. And when I say you don't want to go anywhere, I really mean that, because today we're going to be talking about business God's way. So get your pen and paper. You can't go wrong. We're going to have divine inspiration today on Arizona Business Spotlight. What's it like when God is your CEO and you're in business for him? We're going to be talking with Seminarian Vincing Nguyen and parishioner John Wade from Immaculate Conception Catholic Parish. And they're going to be in studio today along with Abide Maternity Home. Michelle Evans is going to be talking about all the great work that they're doing out in Camp Verde. So stick around. Want to thank our sponsor, Orkin, pest control down to a science. We'll be back in just a moment.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Back on Arizona Business Spotlight, I'm Helen Gibson. I'm so glad that you joined me today. We've all seen it, driving from Cottonwood to Sedona, right there on 89A, Immaculate Conception Catholic Parish, this big, beautiful building. What is it all about? Joining me right now is Seminarian Vincing Nguyen.
That's right.
And parishioner John Wade.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being on Arizona Business Spotlight. I was, teasing a little bit in the beginning, saying, what is it like when God is your CEO? But there is a mantle and a responsibility to managing the things of God. And I know that at Immaculate Conception Catholic Parish, you're doing a great job. John, tell us a little bit about the history of the parish.
Well, it actually started on Willard Street in Cottonwood in the early 30s, way back.
Way back.
And then in 2002, it moved out to the present location, but in temporary building for 7 years. And then 2009, the new structure was built.
Well, you honor God. God's a God of excellence, and approved workmen are not ashamed. So it says in 2 Timothy. And when I see your building, it is a light on a hill.
Oh, it's just beautiful. And of course, seats almost 2,000 people. We have 1,000 families approximately. And there's 70 acres there devoted to the church, the cemetery, and the school.
Taking care of people from birth to death, the whole transition of life, it is a community, it is a family. And how often do you meet during the week?
Well, there's always something going on. There are many masses. There are, of course, Mass Saturday evening, 2 on Sunday, English Mass and a Spanish Mass. Then there are 2 Masses during the week, sometimes special occasions too. And there are many committees and just literally dozens and dozens of volunteers.
Right, and it takes volunteers.
Oh, yes.
But, when you're serving the Lord, sometimes the reward isn't in this life. We're going to see it in the life to come.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yes. And you have a school, I understand.
Yeah, the school, we're up to almost 200 students now. It's a K through 8 with a preschool. Mm-hmm. And just doing well. We're going to expand in the next few years. It's just doing very well, and most of the students there are on scholarships. So and there's a good mixture of many Spanish students to Spanish-speaking students, and it's just going great. English
language learners. I'm working on my master's in elementary education right now.
Well, we could use you.
You'll talk to my boss here at Verde Valley TV. But sowing into that next generation of champions is so important. So I applaud you for the work that you're doing.
It's the future of the church. And luckily, next month, I'm going to join the school board for 2 years, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, school board, you're in good hands. John Wade is on board.
Well, we're there to help the kids.
One of the special things with any church or parish is the leadership. and those that are leading the flock and taking care of the flock. And joining us right now, we have Seminarian Vingsun Wen. Welcome to Arizona Business Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having us.
And so explain to us, how many years have you been in seminary now? What is that whole process like?
So I just finished my 6th year of seminary studies, and I'm going to be finishing actually my last year this next year. Seminary studies can take anywhere between 6 and 9 years, depending on how much studies you've had coming into it.
And then you're off to Rome, can we say that?
Right.
I just did.
So yes, that's right. I'm studying theology, so the study of God. I'm studying my last 4 years of theology in Rome, and so I have my last year this next year.
And then you'll be a priest?
And then I'll be a priest next June 2018.
That is so exciting.
That's
and
right.
A future cardinal, perhaps?
Let's hope not.
That's a lot of work. I always say if you have a title, it denotes a function, and that means a lot of work. What drew you into wanting to serve God and dedicate your whole life to the mission of Christ?
Right. Well, before I entered seminary, I was studying computer science down at ASU, and I was working. And it was pretty fulfilling, happy life, except that, every time I went to church, every time I prayed, I felt this kind of call, this little irk within me that says, God is calling you. And the call kind of became so much that I couldn't really ignore it anymore. And I had to make a call to the vocations director. He's the person who's in charge of, sending out seminarians. And I had to talk to him and have a conversation with him. And he helped kind of guide me and help me understand, what it was God was calling me to. And so it was from prayer, essentially, that I found the call.
It is such a humble, it's a place of humility to think that you are carrying that cross, the continuation of the Great Commission, to go into all the world and preach the good news.
Right.
That God isn't mad anymore and that He loves His people. That whole redemption plan has been taken care of by Jesus. And so I applaud you for that. And how was your family? They have to be proud of you.
Yeah, my family, they all live down in Phoenix, and they're very happy. When I first told my dad that I was going into seminary, he just kind of looked a little bit and he's like, "Oh, that makes sense." So
yeah.
Some of my family had that sense before when I was growing up, and so they're very happy and they're excited to see me ordained a priest in a year here.
That is so exciting. Well, we celebrate with you here in Verde Valley, and especially that you're coming from Immaculate Conception Catholic Parish, and just all the due diligence you put into seminary to learn about God. And isn't He a great God?
He's great, yeah.
He's good. And what would you say, somebody might be watching right now that has that call on their life, and we talked about, when God is the CEO, He's a God of excellence. What would you say to them? What would be the steps?
Yeah, for me, it's one thing I've really learned is that when God calls, you have to listen, and that's when you'll be most happy. A lot of the times we want to do what we want to do, and we kind of have to surrender ourselves and be humble and allow God to take control. And it's really when we allow God to take control, when we allow Him to work through us, that we will be most happy. And I'd really just
That could be the business tip of the day, right there, Vingsun. When God is talking and He calls you, pick up the phone. Listen, because that peace that surpasses all understanding, when you're in that perfect will of God that we all strive to be in our work and our families, you can't put a price on that kind of peace.
Right.
So it is about surrender. And John, you have been a parishioner now for...
Well, since we moved back to California, we've been here 2 years now.
2 years.
So,
and you're already jumping on the board. Look at
right.
you.
The people don't know what they're getting.
So the vision of the church, I know that you have a senior center that you'll be working on, or that you are working on now.
Yeah, hopefully will be completed in 1 to 2 years. 200 apartments, independent living, a dementia wing, and also assisted living. So it'll be right by the church, and it's a Christian community. and should work out very well.
And if people wanted to volunteer and be part of some of the programs, and even like, you know, we were teasing about you need me on staff, but I would love to come and discuss, you know, whether it's mentoring about communications, media literacy is a passion of mine,
Sure.
being a guest speaker. You know, I think sometimes people don't realize what volunteerism is. It can be a one-time only, where you come in and you speak to a classroom.
Sure. Well, God being a good CEO, but he doesn't pay. So if you want to volunteer, I mean, we'd love to have you, and I'm sure you're with your background, you could really help the kids even have a lot of questions too. It's good for them to know about it.
And it is about vision. And when I think of God, you know, and it says in Isaiah, or he was talking about my people perish for lack of knowledge, and in Isaiah, you know, was the prophet that was calling out to the people to return. And I know that there's some people watching right now that may have been disconnected from the faith. We're calling them home.
Sure, welcome back.
Welcome back.
For the first time or the second time or 10th time.
It's about love.
Sure.
And loving the people. And I think the work that the Catholic Church is doing around the world is a model for the rest of us. It really is about humility and servanthood.
Yes, and a lot of things that Immaculate Conception is doing in this community too, that people really don't know about unless they're with some of the volunteers.
Is there something that is on your heart that you would like to share with the people of Verde Valley while you're here about, or something that we haven't covered about Immaculate Conception Catholic Parish?
Well, I think it's good for people to visit there, you know, for prayer or just to see the beautiful structure. They might come to one of the events coming up, which is July 31st. It's the French Boys Choir. 28 boys, ages 7 to 17. Should be a unique event. Of course, it's a tour of one of the wonderful statues from Fatima. It's the 100th anniversary of Fatima, and the Blessed Mother's message from 100 years ago is just as apt now. So there's just so many things to do, whether it's St. Vincent de Paul or the ladies group helping with funerals, just innumerable volunteers.
So many ways to get involved.
Right, and we never have enough people, although we have dozens.
Right. So the connectivity, so I hear a servant leadership, humility, and getting involved.
Right, and what Father says that you know, you're not there to serve yourself, you're there to serve others.
Yes.
And of course, our great pastor, who not only is amiable and efficient, but he's a great singer too.
I hear the acoustics in there are dynamite, and the stained glass.
Yes. So you can
come and visit just to
sure.
see the miracle of that.
Right, and the church is open in the day. Just go in there and meditate or pray or whatever.
I lived in San Juan, Puerto Rico for years, and I can remember visiting many Catholic parishes, and there is such a peace and something about lighting a candle and saying a prayer and just sitting in the presence of greatness and all the prayers that have gone up from the saints. You know,
Sure.
you can feel that.
Or come with the centennial of the appearance at Fatima, Blessed Mother, come in and meditate and ask for her intercession when you have problems.
We can always use an intercessor, and
That's
Jesus' mother,
best.
Blessed Mother, that's the best of the best. Well, thank you so much. In Seminarian Vingson, we applaud you, we support you, and you know, we know that you'll be leaving for Rome in a bit, but our love and our prayers are going to go with you, and you're going to be a dynamite priest, if I could say that.
He looks right.
He looks right. He's got the part. Thank you both, and Parishioner John Wade. Immaculate Conception Catholic Parish, right there on 89A, the most beautiful building I think we have here in Verde Valley. Stop by and see them today. We'll be back with more Arizona Business Spotlight in just a moment.